Welcome back. South Korean activists say a Christian has been publicly executed in North Korea.
And that's where we begin our WorldWatch report. Officials in the communist nation accused the 33-year-old woman of distributing Bibles and for spying for South Korea and the United States. A report by anti-North Korean groups say the woman was executed in a city near the border with China on June 16th. The report goes on to say that the woman's parents, husband, and 3 children were sent to a political prison camp the day after the execution. North Korea claims to guarantee freedom of religion, but in reality severely restricts religious observances.
In neighboring China, authorities have revoked the law licenses of more than 50 human rights attorneys in Beijing. Radio Free Asia reports that officials of the Civil Affairs Bureau raided a legal center called the Open Constitution Initiative. They confiscated computers, questioned employees, and took several attorneys into custody. Some of those attorneys worked with Bob Fu of the China Aid Association. Bob told us the government punished them for their work helping persecuted Christians.
Ironically, instead of being praised for their work to advance the rule of law in China, they were being regarded as a threat to the Chinese so-called stability, primarily because they took the various government branches to the court to challenge their illegal decisions or abuse of power by persecuting Christian believers.
To find out how you can help these imprisoned attorneys, just go to our website, cwnews.org.
Pakistani Christians have launched a petition campaign demanding that the nation's blasphemy laws be repealed.
They've also set aside July 26th as a day of prayer for victims of religious persecution in Pakistan. Gary Lane tells us more.
Petition drive organizers say it's time to speak with one voice and demand rights for Pakistani Christians.
This is the call for everyone around the world, for those who seek justice, for those who are body of the Christ.
The Christians say they're tired of attacks against them, the burning of their homes and possessions, the beating of family members, simply because they're members of a Christian minority in a Muslim-dominated society. Christians like 21-year-old Sandal Bibi. Sandal and her father Gulshir were both imprisoned on charges of blasphemy, charges they say are false. In October 2008, Muslims became enraged when broadcasts from several mosque loudspeakers accused the 2 Christians of desecrating the Quran. Muslims charged that Sandal's 8-year-old brother pulled pages from a Quran. Sandal's mother, Saria, believes the Christians were set up, and the Quranic pages were intentionally placed in front of their house, because Sandal and her father were aggressively winning villagers to Christ.
She was always telling others that God is the way, Jesus is the way to salvation. She always said that to everyone who attended.
Sandal and her father are not alone. Many Christians over the past 2 decades have been falsely accused and imprisoned on charges of blasphemy. Pakistan's blasphemy law contains 3 main sections: blasphemy against Islam, blasphemy against the Muslim holy book, the Quran, and blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad. The maximum sentence for those found guilty of blaspheming the Quran is life imprisonment. The maximum penalty for those convicted of violating blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad is death. No Christian has actually been executed for blaspheming Muhammad, but many have wasted away for years in prison, waiting for their cases to reach a higher court. That's when they're usually thrown out for lack of evidence. The petition calls on the Pakistani government to repeal the blasphemy laws. While organizers hope 200,000 signatures will be collected by the end of this year, they say signatures are not enough. They're also petitioning a higher authority. Pastors from 316 churches say their members will observe a day of prayer throughout Pakistan on July 26th. They want believers around the world to join them in asking God to help Christian victims of persecution and to move hearts to bring about a repeal of the blasphemy laws. Gary Lane, CBN News.